This episode of the Just John podcast is brought to you by the random fact that an elephant can smell water from up to 12 miles away. What up, homies? I'm your host, John Medina, and this, my fine ladies and gentlemen, is the Just John podcast, episode 21. Today on the show, the Golden Globes, Ridiculous 6 breaks records, Tinder is tracking you, an app review, and much, much more. If you want to find out how you can support the show, you can go to justjohnpodcast.wordpress.com/support and find out all the different ways that you can show me some love. You can also find t-shirts there. They're pretty cool. So go on and check out the website.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Something's going to happen to your Twitter feed here fairly quickly. Twitter is changing their limits from the 140 characters to an estimated 10,000 characters. This is going to happen sometime at the end of Q1, so by the end of March. That's a lot of characters. That's actually the same amount of characters that you can put in a direct message before it will tell you that you can't type anymore. They're going to start testing later this month, and I don't know how well this is going to work out. I don't know what it's going to do, because the glory of Twitter and the thing that actually kind of gave Twitter popularity was that it was short bursts of messages. You could just put a little bit of information out there, say how you feel, or something funny, quirky, whatever, and it wouldn't be a book. Because if you go to other social media websites like Facebook, people have posts that are just horribly long. And I mean, you don't have to read it if you don't want to. You can scroll past it, and it only shows a snippet of it in your news feed, but that's just not what people use Twitter for. We'll see how it's going to work out. Some people think that it's going to be like a paid type thing. You have to pay to be able to tweet more than 140 characters. I don't see that happening. It's the same type of situation where people have said that Facebook is going to start charging you to be a member of Facebook. That doesn't work for either of their business models, really. The social media websites make all of their money because of the amount of users that they have. They're able to get a lot of information and target ads and do different things like that. And if they start charging for it, a lot of people won't have it. Yeah, sure, they'll make a little bit of supplemental income from the subscription, but they're not going to be able to do as much with all of the different things that they can do right now.
I guess you could say things are getting pretty serious.
The Golden Globes were this last week, and they're turning into a joke. Seriously, a joke. A lot of people consider, okay, if it's in the Golden Globes, then it's probably going to get an Oscar nom, and that's, it's a little bit different atmosphere. It's not as professional, I guess you could say, and stuff like that. But their categories are really weird. So the biggest one that caused a commotion during this last awards show was that one of the categories is Best Motion Picture that's a musical or a comedy. I wouldn't classify any of the movies that were really in that category a musical or a comedy. And the one that won was neither as well. It was The Martian. Confession time, I haven't seen that movie, but I really, really don't think that was a musical or a comedy. Just from the previews and hearing people talk about it, I don't think that there's any way that is considered a musical or a comedy. Now, you could say that category is a little weird because there's not a lot. You don't typically hear about mainstream films like, okay, for example, a couple that were nominated that were comedies, like Spy. You don't typically see movies like that in the Golden Globes or in Oscar nominations. So we're kind of seeing a change at the same time. So the Golden Globes is struggling because they're trying to keep that record of only sophisticated blah, 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 movies can go in our awards show. But we have a musical and comedy category, so we're going to have to go find a movie that's considered a comedy that's actually funny that wouldn't necessarily normally be in this award show because of the caliber of film. It's not considered an Oscar-nominated, nomination-worthy film. So they put them in there, but they still picked a movie to win that doesn't even qualify for the category. I'm not saying that it's not a good movie and that it doesn't deserve awards, but it doesn't deserve an award in the musical or comedy category. If you're going to name a category musical or comedy, put a musical or comedy in there, and then those are the ones you can vote for. I'm just going to go through a few of the winners just to kind of let you know what the categories were and what the winners were. So the Best Motion Picture Drama was The Revenant. The Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy was The Martian. And the two of the films in there were actually comedies. That was Spy and Trainwreck. Best Performance by an Actress in a Motion Picture Drama was Brie Larson for Room. Best Performance by an Actress in a Motion Picture Musical or Comedy was Jennifer Lawrence for Joy. Again, Spy and Trainwreck were in there. The rest of them I wouldn't consider musical or comedy. Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture Drama, Leonardo DiCaprio, The Revenant. Hopefully this means Leo might get his Oscar. He has been nominated quite a few times, but still never won. And I think that it's about time. I don't want to see Leonardo DiCaprio be the one to win an Oscar posthumously. Like, I don't want him to get an Oscar after he's already passed away. I'm not saying he wouldn't get another one, but I want him to at least get one Oscar while he's living. I actually read this hilarious thing, speaking of Leonardo DiCaprio on the Oscars. It said, how mad would Leonardo DiCaprio be if they made a biopic about Leonardo DiCaprio and the guy that starred as Leonardo DiCaprio won an Oscar for it, and Leo still hasn't won one? That's Inception right there is what that is.
Can I get apps and zerts? Zerts are what I call desserts. Trays are entrees. I call sandwiches Sammy's, Sandoozles, or Adam Sandler's. Air conditioners are Cool Blasters with a Z. I don't know where that came from. I call cakes big old cookies. I call noodles long-ass rice. Fried chicken is fry chicky chick. Chicken parm is chicky parm parm. Chicken cacciatore, chicky catch. I call eggs pre-birds or future birds. Root beer is super water. Tortillas are bean blankies. And I call forks food rakes.
Food rakes. That's my favorite part of that. Actually, long-ass rice is pretty funny too. With the new year comes the whole New Year's resolutions. And one of the biggest resolutions is like, oh, I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to start exercising and I'm going to do this and do that. When people decide that they're going to start dieting, the first thing they usually do is a cleanse, and that's kind of just to get all the toxins and different stuff out of your body. But some of those cleanses aren't necessarily cleansing, and this is one of them. And it's a new freaking ridiculous cleanse that's coming out, and it's called the Taco Cleanse. And it's based on a book that came out, I think, last month. And essentially what it says, this is the theory behind how the taco cleanse can really help you. A taco consumed within 3 hours of waking, basically called a breakfast taco, has been anecdotally proven to erase the ill effects of the previous night's toxic indulgence. So you're saying if somebody goes out the night before and gets shit-faced, that they can eat a taco in the morning and it's going to erase a hangover or whatever they're feeling? Not likely. It's probably the grease in it, if anything. And the best thing to cure a hangover is to drink a lot of water. So whatever. Go for it, I guess. A midday taco frequently results in more positive physical effects. So what they're saying is if you eat lunch, you'll feel a little better. Yeah, because skipping lunch is bad for you. Duh. Everybody knows that. It goes on to say that the spicy taco consumed prior to sleep stimulates the nocturnal imagination and has been used by taco spiritualists to induce prophetic dreams. That is a whole big pile of bullshit right there, okay? So a spicy taco stimulates the nocturnal imagination. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can eat any spicy food. It doesn't have to be a spicy taco. And a taco spiritualist? Okay, so I'm not gonna judge because you're allowed to do whatever you want to do. That's the glory about being in the United States of America. You can say what you want, do what you want, as long as it doesn't, hurt other people and all that fun jazz. And so I'm not judging, but if anybody out there listening to this show is a taco spiritualist, please, please, please email me, because I really want to know what that means and what the theories are behind it. And I also want to know if a spicy taco has given you the ability to dream about the future. The worst thing about this taco cleanse is that I honestly kind of think it's a joke. Seriously, I think that whoever wrote this book was just yanking people's chains. But the worst thing is that now celebrities are starting to talk about it. And the thing about that is that once celebrities start talking about it, it's going to get brought out a lot more into the world. And then all of these people that look up to these celebrities or want to be like the celebrities are going to start doing this stupid cleanse. It's not going to actually, I don't see it actually having good effects on your body in any way, shape, or form. It's not and there's a bunch of recipes, yeah, blah, blah, blah. That's cool and great and whatnot, but I don't see it having the results that most people want it. When most people do a cleanse, they want to feel better. They want to feel healthier. They want to lose weight, or they want to get all the toxins out of their body. And this is not going to do any of those. I mean, I guess if you do it healthfully, you could maybe still lose the weight or eat right. But it's not going to be a all-around diet, and I don't think it's going to be a very good cleanse on the body. But then again, I'm no doctor, so F off.
When I see a car like this, first thing I do is I say, would you look at this?
Ridiculous 6. If you have not seen this movie, definitely put it on your Netflix queue, because it's pretty dang funny. It's stupid, don't get me wrong. It is kick you in the face stupid, but it's really funny. It brings you back to old Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler had a few movies where he just almost, I would say, phoned it in. He wasn't as funny, and they weren't as good of movies. And it's not even what the critics say, because sometimes what they say, will align with what I think, but sometimes it won't, because all film is subjective. But I really enjoyed this movie, and I think it's really funny, and I think that you should try to watch it. Watch the first 20 minutes, and if you don't like that, then you probably won't like the movie, and you can shut it off. But give it a chance, because it is really funny. And Taylor Lautner has his best role of any film that he's ever been in that movie. That wasn't the point of my Ridiculous 6. Ridiculous 6 has had a faster start than any other movie in Netflix history. What does that mean? It racked up more views during its first 30 days of availability than anything that Netflix has ever put out. Part of that could be that there was a lot of publicity behind it. They kind of pushed the advertising on it, but they pushed the advertising on all their Netflix originals, really. So I can't quite say that that's it. I think it was a mix of a few different things. I think that on one hand, you had Netflix putting a lot of stuff behind it, and then I think that you have the fact that Adam Sandler was in it, and there were a lot of other big names in it. Rob Schneider was in it, Taylor Lautner's in it, and a few other people that are pretty famous. I think all of these things had a hand in helping the movie break this record. And I'm just curious to see how long it lasts and what the next thing to break the record is.
It's weird.
We're about halfway through the show, so it's time to play a song. I do want to note that if you know any up-and-coming or underground artists that you want to hear on this segment, send requests to me on Twitter at JohnnyM_Revo or by email at justjohnpodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear some requests from the audience because you guys are my favorites. So if you have a song that you want to hear that's not super mainstream, super popular, please let me know and I will do my best to get it on the show. This song is called Close Your Eyes, and it is by Vineyard.
my mind to make an effort to try. What if I fail? What if it's no use? The hours pass, and what's my excuse? Every day, build this brick by a brick plan I've made. Could be a sinking ship, but if I stop now, we'll never know. When you've been hiding from all of this. Just close your eyes and it won't exist. On this solid ground I fell, I'll pick up myself. Could it be I'm in over my head trying to be someone else? And it's been so long since I felt any bit of ordinary, and it's been too long that the thought of freedom starts to scare me. When you've been hiding from all of this. Just close your eyes and it won't exist. When you've been hiding from all of this. Just close your eyes and it won't exist. When the pain comes, when the hurt is all you feel, just close your eyes. None of this is real.
Barely.
Again, that song was called Close Your Eyes, and it was by Vineyard. I'll have a link to all of their contact information and iTunes account and everything in the show notes, so you can check them out if you liked it. Something new about Netflix has been discovered this past week. So if you aren't familiar with Netflix, you usually have to, like if you want to look through a category, you can go to categories and you can see like dramas, comedies, really generic categories. Or you can just search for the movie or TV show directly by name. But there's actually now a hidden Netflix hack almost to where you can find subcategories and different things like that. So when you go to Netflix on your browser and you go to the categories, the URL for something like documentaries, for example, will say netflix.com/browse/genre/6839. Those numbers are the key to this hack. So if you change the numerical code at the end, you can find different categories like controversial foreign films, which is 2273, critically acclaimed gritty independent crime dramas, which is 3352 and really specific, and feel-good sports movies for ages 8 to 10, which is 855. So they've got a whole list of these hacks because not every number will get you to a different category, but a lot of them will. And we've got a full list compiled of all the different codes and what their subcategories are. If you want to access the list, I'll have a link to it in the show notes so you can take a look at that. It's actually pretty interesting, and it might make a fun game, you know, like you and your buddies or your significant other or whoever are sitting at home and you're like, oh, I don't really know what I want to watch. Nothing in these generic categories is doing it for me. So let's pull up this list and go to one of these really off-ball specific categories like controversial foreign films and just pick one and branch out a little bit and see if it's any good. You can make a game out of it. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and it's just really cool.
Some avocado.
One last thing to do with Netflix. Daredevil is coming out. It will be released in March. I'm super excited. I can't wait to get the second season. Also, I think we'll see some kind of more crossover than spoilers what we saw at the end of Jessica Jones. Elektra and the Punisher are also going to be in it, which is pretty exciting. From the trailers and the posters and stuff, it looks like the Punisher may have a bigger role in it than Elektra, but who cares? We're getting all of this like nitty-gritty, really dark side of Marvel through Netflix, and I'm really into it and I like it a lot, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do. I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
The feeling of rust against my salad fingers is almost orgasmic.
George Lucas is in the news again. He's in the news. He's been in the news a lot lately, but this is a different kind of feel than the other reasons that he's been in the news. There's a change.org petition that has been created that essentially wants to have George Lucas come back and direct episode 9. This is the exact wording of the petition. It says, "We have no problem with Colin Trevorrow, but he's not the right guy to direct Star Wars Episode 9. George Lucas as director of Episode 9 would be the perfect way to end this new trilogy and make an epic farewell between the father of Star Wars and the whole universe of the galaxy far, far away." There's a few problems I have with this petition personally. When Disney purchased Lucasfilm from George Lucas and they started working on the script for Episode 7, George Lucas had a lot of suggestions for it. He gave them all to them and they said no. They said, "We don't like that. We're not going to do that. We're going to take it in a different direction." I don't think that creatively they will be able to agree enough on Episode 9 for George Lucas to direct it. Because if they write the whole thing and don't let him have any say in it and he's expected to direct it, I don't think he's going to put his full effort in. And if they do let him write it as parts of it or have a say in it or whatever and direct it, there's a fear that it will have the backlash that the prequels did on it. Now, every time I talk about Star Wars and I mention the prequels, I have to say that I don't hate them. They're decent. They're pretty good, actually. I don't have a problem with them. I like them. I was like 9 when they came out, so that may have something to do with it. But whatever. It's Star Wars. But there are a lot of people that did not like the prequels. Most people. If you took a big, huge survey of all the people that have even a little bit of passion for Star Wars, I'd say at least 80% of them probably will say that they hated the prequels. So we don't want... Disney was able to make a Star Wars film that was critically acclaimed. I mean, it has a great critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and the majority of people really, really liked the movie. And they were able to get away from that stigma of the prequels and make an all-around good film that's received by everybody in a positive light. Okay, not everybody, but most everybody. And the last thing they want to do is bring back George Lucas, who did not appeal to the majority of fans with the prequel trilogy. I just don't think it's wise, and I don't see it happening. If he had anything to do with Star Wars, again, it would be something animated to start with, because they'd want to test the waters. If they do a straight-to-home movie or like Disney XD original animated movie or something of Star Wars, and it's not the greatest thing in the world, it's going to be okay. It's not going to kill the steam and the momentum that Star Wars has right now. And so that would be, I think that if they do anything, that would be the only thing that they would actually do. But, I mean, this petition is going to have to get a huge amount of signatures before Disney would even consider thinking about it. And right now, at the time of this recording, they only have 23,204 supporters. Disney's not even going to take them seriously with that. They're going to need at least 150 to 200 to even be considered worth anything. Because that's just 23,000 people. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot of people. That's actually more people than live in the town that I live in. But I just don't think that's enough. Not to make a decision that's so big. And even if there were 150,000 signatures on that, I don't know that that would still waver their decision. They know what they're doing. They've got a plan. And I don't think George Lucas is in their plan.
The Force will be with you, always.
Tinder is secretly rating you. If you have Tinder and you're using it, it is actually keeping statistics and rating you and pairing you based on those statistics. It's secretly scoring the desirability of every user. Tinder calls its desirability ratings an ELO score after the ELO rating system that chess players use to rank skill. Essentially what's happening is every time someone swipes right on you, it logs that and it uses that to measure your desirability and then pair you with other people. So attractive people are going to be paired with attractive people more, and unattractive people are going to be pulled with unattractive people more. At least that's a really boiled down version. A lot more goes into it because say you have a desirability score of 8 and somebody with a desirability score of 7 swipes left on you and says no. The system is built to say, okay, why? Is it because, oh, he has tattoos, or oh, he has facial hair, or whatever? It's learning about your likes and dislikes as well. So if you don't like tattoos, it won't pair you with somebody that has a bunch of tattoos. Additionally, like if somebody that's desirability is a 10 and your desirability is currently a 5, and it will still randomly do that because how could anybody, like if you first start out and you have a generic desirability of a 5 because that's right in the middle, how could you ever move up if, you know, it would just be super slow. So occasionally you'll see somebody that has like a 5 and a 10 will see each other. And if the 10 swipes right on the 5, it gives them a lot bigger boost in their desirability score than if a 5 swipes right on a 5. Essentially what they're doing is they're trying to do the whole eHarmony thing, but in the background. They're just tracking everything you do and say and who you swipe on and who swipes on you, and they're trying to use that and spin it and turn it into a way to match people up. Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad idea and that it may not end up working and it may not be super successful, but I feel like they should kind of tell you about that kind of stuff first, and they should give you the ability to opt out, because like some people don't want their information to be tracked. I just think that you should know that they're tracking you. I mean, it may be deep inside their privacy policy somewhere, like hidden at the bottom, because no one's going to read all of that, but that should be something that you're alerted to when you initially sign up, or if you were already signed up when it started, they should have notified you via email or pop-up dialogue on the app or something. Powerball. Unfortunately, I am not a billionaire. I did not win the Powerball this week. Sorry, guys. I tried. I bought a whole 2 tickets, but I knew the odds and I knew that I probably wouldn't win, but it was that whole like what if, like, okay, I have to buy at least one just because if I don't, I'm really just going to regret it. Like if I don't buy one, then I don't know that there's no way that I know that I wouldn't have won if I didn't buy one. I have to buy one because I have to be able to say I tried and then I did not win, because if I didn't buy one, I'd always live with that. What if I would have bought one and I would have won? I could have been a billionaire, or, well, they have to split it 3 ways because there were 3 total winners. So 300 millionaire or whatever, you know. But anyways, that's not the point of this story. I actually want to talk about something that I saw on Facebook, and I really wish that this person would have won just because I wanted to see the fallout from what happened. So I'm scrolling through Facebook and somebody liked or shared a photo, like a post that said, I don't normally play the lottery only because I want my earnings to be based upon my own efforts. Shut up. Okay, that is no. If somebody said, I'll give you $500 million, all you have to do is pay $2 for this ticket and wait till 10 o'clock tonight, you're gonna do it because it would make your life a lot easier. So be quiet. Shut up. That is the dumbest freaking thing. But continues to say, I will, however, share the winnings of this ticket if I am to win with all of those that 1. Like this post, 2. Comment on this post, 3. Share this post. I even have legal documentation so you can hold me to it, winky face. Yeah, because that's professional, putting a winky face at the end of your stupid Facebook post. I hope we win. And then there's a picture of a piece of paper that says January 13th, 2016 Powerball proposition. I blank hereby agree to equally share 100% of the earning I win from the Tennessee Powerball drawing on Wednesday, January 13th, 2016 with all parties that like, share, comment on my Facebook post that states this proposition. This is an official legal document that can be used in the court of law. Signature, date, picture of the Powerball ticket. Well, I really wish he would have won just because, as I said before, I want to see the fallout of what would have happened because he's thinking that, 1, people aren't going to do all 3, which is what you would essentially have to do. You'd have to like the post, comment on the post, and share the post. Say 10,000 people do all 3, and he was the only one that won. They say if you win, split it in thirds, less what you take out all at once. So you only got like $986 million if you took the cash option. Divide that by 3. So you're going to bring home $328,666,666, right? So let's divide that by 10,000 people. That's $32,000 a person, almost $33,000 a person, which still isn't bad, but that's not hundreds of millions of dollars anymore. So there would have been, I'm sure the first thing he would have done would have been called up a lawyer and said, how can I get out of this? And there would have been some way to get out of it, or there wouldn't have been some way to get out of it, and he'd be basically broke. He'd have a little bit of money, but not nearly as much as he thought. So I just think it would be really hilarious to see somebody that's dumb enough to put that on Facebook to get likes, shares, and hopefully some followers or some stupid crap, and then turn out to actually win and have to honor their agreement. That would be freaking hilarious.
Because I'm going to put my nutsack on your drum set.
As is tradition, I'm going to end the show with an app review. The app that I'm going to be reviewing today is called SimCity Build It, and it's available on Android, iPhone. I don't think it's available on Windows, but surprise, surprise, is anything really available on Windows? This game is freaking addicting. Like, seriously addicting. I've been playing it every free moment that I have for the past week and a half now. So I liked the SimCity games that were on PC. When I was younger, I played them all the time. I did not play the new one as much just because life kind of got in the way and I just didn't have time. But anyway, so I liked it a lot, and this is similar to it. It's a little bit easier in terms of like you don't have to pay for your roads, your basic roads, and you would just have to play it. Like the way you upgrade residential buildings, like you actually upgrade them yourself. The Sims don't do it, but you still have your power management, you still have your water, waste, garbage, sewage, all of that stuff is still integrated into it. You can still strike deals with neighboring places. Like they'll be like, oh, I need 3 pieces of wood or iron or whatever, and you can sell it to them. You cannot sell your excess energy or water or take garbage from them, though. They don't allow you to do that for like a monthly arrangement of money. It's free to play, so it has some of the free to play tendencies to it, and you feel them a lot if you try to put a lot of time into the game. Like if you try to sit there and play it for an hour, you're going to run into the free to play stuff really quick because you're going to run out of gold. like your regular money, your simoleons, you're going to run out of that really quick. And the only thing you can do is either buy it or take your time and wait and collect it in taxes or make different things to sell on the market and stuff like that. But you can expand, you can do all kinds of different stuff, and it's a lot of fun. If you were a fan of the old Sims games, you're going to be a fan of this game, and I like it. It's a really fun game.
Because drugs are bad, okay?
If you enjoyed the show, please show me some love by liking, thumbs up, subscribing, sharing, rating, reviewing, retweeting, or whatever it is that's used to symbolize the love of the show on the platform you're using to view it. You can follow me on Twitter at JohnnyM_Revo, on Facebook at facebook.com/JustJohnPodcast. You can find the show at justjohnpodcast.wordpress.com. I really, really worked to kind of get the website at least looking half decent. So if you want to take a trip over there and look at it, that'd be great. You can listen to the show at soundcloud.com/JustJohn-podcast, youtube.com/JFMedina2010. You can also search for the Just John Podcast on pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, and some other shit. You can email the Just John Podcast at gmail.com. And remember, without you, I'm just some dude talking to himself on the internet. Until next time, peace out, fam.